Beautiful evening here in central Pennsylvania. Lovely fall foliage up there on the hills. And it's been a beautiful sunny warm day today. Anyway, I'm just here in the studio. Where else would I be? So I'm just doing some bud vases. What is a bud vase? That is a bud vase, okay? It's a small table vase for putting just one or two flowers. You know, it's a little flower arrangement for the table, really. I just happen to have these here. You know, you can do many different decorations on them. They're nice. Basically, it's just a nice small vase to have at the table. So what I thought I'd do, I just happen to have 7 clay lumps. I have a student these days who comes up here like a couple of hours a week on a Wednesday. So I'm just getting him doing some stuff, you know, just a bit of basic training. So he's learning how to wedge, etc. So he did me some clay lumps here. We'll see how good they are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make for you a bud vase, 7 steps to making a bud vase. Alright, so we're going to break it down into 7 steps, and we'll set it about like that, I think. Right, so it's going to have to be 7 steps because that's the lumps that we have here. Let's see if we're any good. So, all right. I'll just talk about each step briefly as I do it, okay? This is for people probably who have already achieved a cylinder. Like if you haven't achieved yet a cylinder, I would recommend that you do that first. 12 ounces, 5 inches tall. Okay? Now, if you've been able to do that and you think you want to move on and do something different, have a go at doing some bud vases. And what I'm going to show you here might be useful to you. Okay, so attach the clay to the wheel head. This is step number 1, okay? Now I'm squeezing here and here and then lifting, you see? So as I do that and then lift, it gives me that, okay? So that's going to be step number 1. So what I'm going to do now is just cut it off, okay? We'll put him over there on the wearboard. Ooh. Number 2. So of course with each lump of clay I'm going to go through the previous step, you know, and incorporate it, include it in that. So there it is, there's step number 1. Now right hand here, left hand. So you put the point of the cone here, okay, not up here, here, okay. Now you're going to put that hand there, and then you're going to push down right on top of the cone there, until you get something looking like that. All right, cut him off. Step number 2. Step number 3. Now if you're not sure if you can center, well, if you can't center, yeah, you shouldn't be doing these anyway, but just to say, if you're not sure if your lump of clay is on center, if you hold a stationary object real close to it, you'll soon see if it's on center or not. If it doesn't appear to be moving in relation to the stationary object, it's on center. But if when you put the stationary object there, you see it moving like this, you know it's not on center. Step number 3. Okay, I'm going to use my... Let me just come off the wheel and do this. Ugh! On the other side here. So, just so you can see, I'm just going to go down to the bottom like that, okay? Using my thumb and index finger like that, okay? That's it. It's just that where I've got the camera positioned, it's difficult for you to see my actual finger postures. Alright, so that's step number 3. Okay, let's continue. Dee dee dee. Yeah, if anybody's interested in some Zoom clay classes, give me a shout. I'll be teaching you this kind of thing, you know. Except it'll be like on a one-on-one basis. With you on your laptop. Wherever you happen to be, in London, Shanghai, New York, or Paris. Okay, so now we're just gonna repeat that last stage. I'm gonna stay seated on the wheel in this case. Okay, so now let's see. I've just got to think myself what I do now, because I've sort of become so automatic in my. So I'm trying to break this down. You see. Okay, so I'm going to go in and just pull it up like that. So basically, sort of, you've got like a stubby little cylinder. All right, something like that. Okay. It's not too critical at this stage. You just want to get it up into a kind of basic cylindrical form. All right, yeah, okay. Well, we'll cut that one off there, I think. Boom. Put him there. Oh, I've got 3 lumps left. So this is going to be number 5. Oh, did I say I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, 7 lumps. Okay, get it attached to the wheel head, and then squeeze here and here, and then pull it up using those parts of your hand, you know, to achieve that cone. Now, centering it right down again. It kind of helps to cone up like that and then center down. It does something to the clay. It brings it into sort of submission. Okay, let's go. Let's just break in down to the bottom. So I'm judging the thickness through the base at this stage from the bottom of my finger. Okay, now I'm just opening up and I'm pulling it up a little bit. I just want to get back to the last form that I had there. So don't let it get too wide at this stage, okay? We're just getting a little bit of height here, right? Right. So that's basically where we were the last stage. So now I'm pushing in from the outside here a bit, narrowing the foot, taking this clay, and as I pull it, I'm kind of bellying it. Can you see that? All right. So at this stage it's important to get the bottom part of the because before we can close in the top here, we've got to make sure that the bottom form of the pot is right, because we can't really get in there afterwards and change it, you see. Alright, so I'm just going to cut that one off like that. That is number 5. Put in there. 2 more. Okay. So these lumps of clay are 8 ounces. Just so you know. If I didn't tell you, I know somebody would be asking me, see. Somebody will still probably be asking me. Okay, I'll try and put it in the description actually. The weight. They're not made to any specific size. They're a little bit individually thrown. You can vary them a little bit as you go. Keep them in at the top. Keep them fairly. They're slightly conical at the top. All right. Okay, now this next stage, pushing in here at the base, narrowing the foot, and so my finger position is like that. If you can see my fingers there. So this is there, and this finger is right there on the bulge, okay? Because that's what I'm lifting it. Getting a bit of height. Don't get it too narrow in the foot, because we're going to use the throwing stick. These are sort of a little bit like GP bowls, the way we finish the bottoms using the throwing stick, okay? Alright. So now at this stage I'm sort of about ready to close it in. I've got a little foreign body here or something, I don't know what. I'm going to just dig it out. Alright, so yeah, let's just take, at this stage, we're going to do that, okay. And now, with a little water here, I'm going to use this technique like this, which is what I call 6 points of contact, because I'm contacting in 6 places. So this is a constriction move, okay. So watch carefully. I'm now bringing it in at the top, like that. Okay, now don't worry if it starts going up and down a bit like that, that's perfectly normal. It usually does that. So I've satisfied myself with the bottom shape here. Now I've got to do the top shape. Why don't we just because I've got one more to do, so we'll make this one the seventh shape. Bit of dry clay there, I think came off my apron. Alright, so we're not going to worry about the top, it's going up and down a bit. Okay, that's good, no worries. Okay, cut him off. Okay, get underneath him. The way to lift these off is like that. Double inverted Winston Churchill victory signs, okay? It's okay. Don't worry about me. What, Simon? Okay, so get it attached to the wheel head and now pull it up. 1, center down. 2, break in. 3, Now close it in and kind of pull it up at the same time. When I say I'm sort of using the side of my hand and my finger pushing, okay, it's sort of, you can do it so far like that, and then so if your clay is not very well kneaded for whatever reason, it's quite likely you might get a bit of movement there, up and down movement, you see, because when you constrict it in, if the clay is a bit uneven, it translates into an up and down movement. We're not worried about that though at the moment. Okay, so with this is number 4. Now we're going to go to number 5. I'm going to belly it. Okay. And now come back in. Once you've achieved the belly that you want here, you've got to get that clay back in again. So you get it looking something like that. Now's the time to sponge it, because we're going to close it. Okay, and now 6 points of contact like this. Constrict it in towards the center and like that. Okay. Okay, I know it looks a bit. My goodness me, Simon, you really need to go and learn how to throw. Okay, actually this top is a little bit, ideally not as bad as that, but I think this lump of clay was not as well wedged as so let's cut that off, okay, because that's what you're going to do with these. You're going to learn how to use your cut-off needle, and preferably have a fine needle, not some thumping great huge thing. Okay, now watch closely here. We're going to finish the top here. I'm going to narrow him a little bit more. I want the neck in a bit. He's gone wonky again. If you find that you're making pots, and when you do a constriction move, the clay is not really wanting to compress over itself very easily, and you get a lot of this up and down, it's probably the clay. The clay has not been wedged very well or kneaded very well. That is a likely possibility. It's not the only possibility, but alright, so there it is. Let's take a closer look before I finish it. Ooh. So take a note of the form. Alright, and now I'm going to use my throwing stick. This is where having a decent throwing stick helps. Let's bring it in a bit. And let's also lower it a bit. A smidgen like that. Okay, so I'm going to use my throwing stick now to sharpen up the form. I'm going to start at the very bottom here, using my throwing stick here to put in there. Just put it in a bit gently to start with, and start to narrow in the foot. You see? So you're removing. It's basically, it's like I said, like with the GP bowl, you know. This is really wet. It's wet trimming. Well, you know, I'm trimming in the throwing stage using my throwing stick. Okay, I'm now going to use my throwing stick again, using the side of my stick, and I'm using it to to take off some of the slurry and to smooth it. Smooth the, see that? Taking that off. So that actually, it does help to, it's a bit like looking through a camera and rotating the lens to bring it into focus, you know. I've sharpened up the image. Alright, we're nearly done. Let's hope the camera still keeps going. Doesn't decide to stop for some reason. Okay, leather the rim. Be a bit careful about doing that. Don't apply any pressure. Just very lightly. Okay. And right. That is it. Now that just to show you, I wanted you to see before I did that. Let's clean the wheel head here a bit. Right, I want to bring down the camera again for you to see. So you see how we've sharpened it up, haven't we? The form. Okay. So right, so let's just pull the camera back and let's just stop the wheel. As I said, we could palm lift it off like that. I prefer to do these like that. I can make these then by, even with, I don't need to stop the wheel. I can just get underneath it like this and, ooh. You know what, I didn't even cut it, did I? That was, oh my, oh my. Did I cut, I didn't cut him off, did I? Shh. That was not smart, Simon. Oh my gosh. Says you're right for showing off, boy. Sorry about that, okay. Yeah. So, take your cut-off wire, with it going around, go through like that. And now, this is what I wanted to show you. You can get underneath it and lift him off, you see, without even stopping the wheel. And there we go. Alright, let me move these. Put these, well, let me see, I'm going to put these. Just bear with me a moment, will you? Put that there. Alright. You can, I'm going to put this here on this wheel. I'll swing the camera over here in a second. I'll put that there. And then you can maybe take a screenshot of it and print it out and put it in front of your wheel. Okay, so there we go. 7 steps to how to throw a bud vase. Alright, and there's the finished one on the end there. I'll give you some idea of shrinkage. Gives you some idea of what the shrinkage would be on that. Sorry about the sun is right behind me and I'm struggling to get myself out of the picture. Maybe it's better from that angle. Alright, so go away and have a go at practicing that. When you've accomplished it, email me a photo. In the next video I'm going to be showing you how to finish off these bud vases. I'm not going to make that a separate teaching exercise. Okay. Thanks for joining us, folks, here on this beautiful October the 23rd. Sunny. It's like been pushing 80 degrees today. It's been beautiful. Really nice. I expect it's going to get colder though pretty quickly. If you want to come on a workshop, I've got space on November 7th and 8th. Okay, if that grabs you, you want to come here. We've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 people. Write to me, Simon Leach pottery@gmail.com. Or go to my website and just fill out that little contact form thing. And if you don't want to come but you still want to learn and get some tuition, well, you can do it from your own home studio, from at home. Alright, we can have a one-on-one session using the old using the webcam. Okay, using Zoom. So download the Zoom app. It's pretty simple, it works pretty well. Yesterday I had a class to the Himalayas in India. We had a group, in fact it was really it was an interview really from some Indian potters out there. So big hi to all of those out there, Teeny and Minnie and all those other potters out there in northwest India, up there, up in the foothills of the Himalayas. So yeah, it doesn't matter where you are, so long as you've got internet, you can do it. We can have a session together. It's $45 an hour. It's a good hour, okay, and it's probably more than an hour actually. And I'm not watching the clock particularly, but you know, it's a good hour. So if that grabs you, it's basically just like this, like a YouTube video, except it's just you there, and you are talking back to me, and we're talking about the pot that you are making in your studio, and I'm trying to tell you what to do. Now slow down a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more water. Now collar it in. All right. So, if you think you'd like to do that, write to me, simonleachpottery@gmail.com. Say you're interested in doing a Zoom class, and I'll fill you in on the details. Oh, I think that's about it for today. Thanks for participating and joining. I hope that was helpful to you. And I'll see you in the next video, okay? Meanwhile, keep practicing. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye. Dee 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 dee.